Welcome to Soccer As We Like It, the Man United direction, club versus player, episode 3. Emad is back, ready to roll after his holiday. How was your break, buddy?
Too long. couldn't wait to get back. You need a holiday after a holiday. This holiday wasn't for us.
Mate, let's get into it, mate. Talk about a shit show since our last game. 2 weeks of drama, just drama after drama. It's just crazy, Phil Jones turns down a loan deal to Bordeaux. How does that happen? Donny moves to Everton. Dean Henderson loan blocked. Anthony Martial to Seville. Ahmed to Rangers. Ed Woodward gone. Richard Arnold in. Mason Greenwood. Holy crap, what's going on there? TF Chong's back. We've got FA Cup. 64th anniversary of Munich coming up. Mate, this is just the life of Man United, the life of Ryan. How are we looking in this? Seriously, man, there's too much shit going down.
It's been a chaotic couple of weeks, to say the least. What a build-up to the 64th anniversary of Munich, though. Like, you couldn't ask for a worse build-up, to be honest.
Mate, it's a disgrace.
Where do you start, man? All the loaned out players, as you mentioned most of them, and then you got the Greenwood saga. I don't even know if we're gonna. I know we'll probably touch on it. I don't know if I want to touch on it.
Yeah, for me, I don't really want to touch on it, but we'll give it a little bit of a mention at the end. I think. Well, not the end, somewhere there.
Yeah, Woodward, the germ, finally gone.
Yeah. And I think his puppet's just come in the match. I really hope he isn't, but
what's his name? Richard Arnold.
Yeah.
And then I think my biggest issue is the like you said, the title of the show, the player versus club. I think that's where my issue stems from in tonight's show. So we'll get the ball rolling. Where do you want to start?
Well, mate, let's start with the transfers. I mean, this isn't a show about transfers, but at the end of the day, it was a frigging mess, The club holding players to ransom, both Lingard and Henderson. What's your view on there? Would have you blocked him? Would have you let him go? Jesse, when he was at West Ham, posting pictures. What's your go on it, mate? And don't hold back on this. I want you fired up for this.
I've got the two little ones next to me, so I'll try and keep it as that. and until they're in bed, I'll keep it civil, but I'll start with Henderson. I don't understand why his move was blocked. I really don't. He's a starting goalkeeper. Maybe not a United starting goalkeeper, but a starting goalkeeper nonetheless. He would start in most teams in the Premier League. To have him blocked. To have his move blocked is, I can't understand why they would do that. He hasn't been playing at all this season. We've just signed, what's his name? Tom Heaton at the start of the season. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. He come back to United after being here before.
I don't know why we have this massive goalkeeper roster and why we're going to keep someone someone by the likes of Dean Henderson, who's pretty much his career's kicking off and he can really push, for an England #1 jersey or, really developing his game into being, a really good goalkeeper in world football. So his move being blocked, I can't get my head around it. I don't understand it. I don't know why they've done it, but that doesn't faze me. The Lingard one, and I was mentioning to you before, I don't care that his move was blocked. I'd let him ride on the bench, and I'd let him go for free. He isn't worth that much anyway. I'd let him go. He wants to post things like that and be disrespectful towards the club, even disrespectful towards the manager and the club by tweeting what he tweeted after Ralph Rangnick's comments about letting him go away for a couple of days to clear his head, a couple of days off to clear his head. And then he's come out and said that his head is clear and the club have ordered him to go away. Even that I find very disrespectful.
Well, he
Then you
hasn't
have his
started under Ranić, has he? Lingard, he hasn't started under him. So
but he's not a United starting 11 player for me.
yeah, that's right.
Who are we gonna start him ahead of? There's no one that you look at Ranić's 11 in the how many games has he had? 6 games?
Yeah, 6 games. Yeah,
6 games, something like that.
6 or 7. Yeah.
Look at his starting 11 in every one of those games. You wouldn't start him ahead of any one of those boys.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, I don't get it. If that's the case, then just let him go. Then just let him go. It's an opportunity for then someone from the youth team to come through and play on the bench that you'd get more out of.
I get that, but I think with the amount of players that we've loaned out, and they're all pretty much attacking players, and then you throw the Greenwood saga in the mix. Now we're looking quite thin up top.
Yeah.
So maybe that was their reasoning behind blocking the move and keeping him in the squad until the end of the season, and then they're going to be happy to let him go. But to be posting this, see, for me, I would have let him go out, or sell him now, or let him go out on loan and kept back one of the players that we've loaned out instead.
Look, what annoyed me a little bit too, like today, Ranić's come out and he was asked the question about Lingard, about the block and everything like that. And, he's come out and sort of tried to justify, Ranić sort of come out and justified himself. He goes, well, I've only got 6 months left on my contract. Well, mate, come on. That was the last pod. You know what I mean, that we did together. Just give it to us. Don't come out and make excuses for yourself when the question's about Jesse. You know what I mean? That's poor form, I think. I don't want to read that shit.
Sometimes the best thing to say is to say nothing at all, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Like, it's absolutely crazy.
He honestly says, like, he says way too much, man. He really needs to zip it a bit. He needs to keep things just, like I said last time, keep his cards closer to his chest.
Yeah.
Making comments like that, I don't know.
He doesn't need to answer that question. Jesse's got 6 months left on his contract, and he goes, well, I can't say much either. I've only got 6 months left on mine. Basically saying that. Like, it's crazy, his talk, man. That's what this pod's about, club versus player. That's the club not sticking together, and that's the player just getting away with what he wants. I can't believe what this club's come to.
Maybe he's starting to buckle under the pressure 6 weeks in.
Oh, mate, surely not. And then he's going to be helping run the club after that, surely.
Yeah, but that's probably what he's better suited to, being behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's right. So
not front and center. Okay, and I know he's managed Schalke and clubs of that stature, but he's in a different beast here, Adam. This is a different beast, mate. And
well, we've got FA Cup tomorrow. You can guarantee that, well, you can't guarantee. We don't know who's going to start in goals. Well, if it was under Ollie, Henderson would have started in goals.
Yeah.
But De Gea is the one that's been starting. But, Henderson had the COVID. So, you never know. Tomorrow, it is Middlesbrough tomorrow? So, is it Middlesbrough
I wouldn't
tomorrow?
start Middlesbrough, yeah. I wouldn't start Henderson anyway, even if he didn't have COVID.
Yeah, that's right.
Me personally, for me, if a player wants to leave the club, then you're not going to play for the club.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, mate. I don't want you at the club if you don't want to be at the club.
That's right. Even if your transfer hasn't gone through in the window, okay, you want to leave, fine. Go play in the reserves or go train with the reserves, sit on the bench.
The other thing you got now is you got Pogba coming back in. There's still no... Sorry?
That's another new signing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's another new signing. Yeah, he's come off his holiday and now he's come back in. Well, he's only got 6 months to go on his as well. So Jesse and him might be going hand in hand. So he's going for his second free.
He seems to get injured around the same time, and every year and ends up in the same place in rehab, always in Dubai.
United, they just seem to buy the wrong players, don't they? It's just become a habit over the last few years. And it's ruining people. It's ruining the club. You can see that. That's for sure. There's no stabilisation at all. So players are getting away with what they want.
But I see, like, this is part of my criticism towards like the people who like they used to say about Ollie, you know, Ollie's not the right man for the job, but what he's doing at the club is he's reinstating the United culture and the United DNA, and he's fixing things from inside within the club, and he's bringing it back to the way it was, you know, when Fergie was around. Okay, fair enough. And we could sort of see that, you know, there was a good run of before they threw him under the bus. You could see that bit of togetherness within the squad, and everyone was happy, even during some of the losses and things like that. We'd bounce back straight away with a win, with a good performance, whatever it was. But I always used to say, it doesn't matter what Ollie does now, because whoever the next bloke to come in, the whole thing's going to change.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
He may not like the way it was left for him.
Yeah.
You know, there could be a million supporters of United around the world going, yeah, Ollie left it in a great state. But one bloke is going to come in and go, you know, he didn't leave it in a good state. I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, we're going to do this. And then it changes everything again. So and this is what I'm saying, like the rebuild after the rebuild. How many times do we have to rebuild? Well, we've been rebuilding since Moyes.
That's right. Well, we've got Martial. Martial's left at Seville now, you know, and then Ralph Rangnick's come out again today and started talking about, you know, and we've got Donny gone as well, you know, and they're all gone out on loans, and you know, he's come out today and said, you know, I really hope they do come back to the club. Come and say good night. Good night, sweetheart.
You say good night, sweetheart. Say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Special guest. See, the holiday still hasn't ended for them, brother.
Mate, that's good, mate. That's good. She's beautiful. Nothing better than having
much.
a daughter, mate. I can tell you right now. I've got two of them, and they're both beautiful. It's great.
Oh, mate, she has my back no matter what. The other two boys, they'll sell me for $1.
The daughters will always, well, there's always one daughter that'll have your back. My you know, youngest one's always got my back all the time.
I only want one, that's it.
Yeah.
Mate, my boys will sell me for $1 if they could, don't worry.
But they love mum.
No, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You know, so back on
Donny and Martial. You know, and Ralph Rangnick's come out and said he hopes they're back at the club. You know, that was the other one.
He wants them back at the club. What's the point of loaning him out?
That's right. He said, well, once they've finished their loan spell, I hope they're back at the club.
See, look, for me, I have no like emotional attachment to Donny.
That's right.
Like it doesn't faze me that he sat on it was upsetting for him. Yeah, he sat on the bench and it was a waste of money buying him because we didn't play him. But for me, he went on loan to Everton. I'm not fazed by it. I don't.
Yeah.
Look,
I really hope he carves it up, to be honest with you. You know,
I hope he does well for his sake. But for me personally, I'm not gonna sit here as a United fan and go, I'm so proud of Donny for doing well.
Well, I mean, he didn't really do well for us, did he? You know, even when he came on, you know, everyone can talk about the way I look at it. Every time he came on, I don't believe he tore it up. I believe he came on and contributed, but I don't believe he came on and gave us some unbelievable memories.
I think his best performance, my opinion, obviously, his best performance was, I think it was last season away at Newcastle. And he come off the bench then, I think.
Yeah.
We beat him 4-1, I think it was. I think his link up play with Juan Mata was very good that game. But other than that, I haven't seen much of him, neither at United or at Ajax. It's not like I didn't go on YouTube and try and watch a whole Donny van der Beek compilation. So, like I said,
yeah, mate, I'm hearing you, mate. I'm not the type of person to go and do that. I'm not the type of person to do that anyway. You know, but half these players that come into the club, I'm hearing about them for the first time. I'm sure most of these people that do comment about these players, they see them on FIFA and they put them in their side and they work them around the pitch.
That's it, mate. I'm not going to watch a 3-minute video of a player and then call myself an expert. So
that's right, yeah. Look,
Martial.
Yeah, Martial. So
he's another one, man. Again, you know, he had the potential. He's got potential. Well, he had potential to be something better than what he is. But for me personally, again, I think we saw the best of him.
Yeah.
He's nothing more than a 17-goal a season player for me. That's all you're gonna get from him. What we saw is what we got, and that's all you're gonna get out of that bloke.
But he's another one that came out and couldn't cop the comment, and then came out with another comment online. You know, this comment bullshit online just drives me crazy. It's absolute garbage. What right do you have to fucking come and question your manager? And then our club.
His sister.
Sorry?
This was his missus or his sister. I can't remember which one it was. They made a post on social media a few weeks before this, before his comment about refusing to travel with the squad.
Yeah.
You know, she said he's not injured. He's been training. He's fine. He hasn't been injured for the club. They're just refusing to select him or whatever it is, something along those lines. One, like let's put the player posting stuff on social media to one side, and let's your partner messaging.
Oh mate, that's a piss take. Yeah.
You go home and you tell her, put the phone down, stay out of it. It's none of her business, none of anyone's business. Same as Lingard's brother.
Yeah.
I'd be on the phone to him and say, bro, what are you doing? Take that shit down.
As a club, so like this pod's called Club versus Player. As a club, what should the club do in that situation? Should they sack the two players, and should they bring a couple of youth players up? Because I can tell you now, and again we always compare to Fergie's time. There's no way in the world if the internet was around, he would have accepted that, or even if he was around now, he wouldn't accept that. So as a club, it's weak on the club, isn't it?
I don't know what the legalities are like now around player contracts, and you know, like sort of, if there's some sort of unfair dismissal sort of thing, just getting sacked for posting something. But I think there should be repercussions for these players. Like I said with Lingard, okay, you want to be disrespectful towards the club, you're gonna, and sometimes the club's just gonna have to cut their losses. Okay, you're going to go for 3 and 6 months, but I'm not going to let you go now. You're going to sit on that bench and you're going to rot. You're not going to touch a ball. Or if you want to take it further, do what they've done to Greenwood. And I know it's a different story, but you know what? You're not to train with the senior squad. You're not to play with the senior squad. Go and play with the kids for all I care.
Yeah, well, they used to go and play with reserves, didn't they? Like,
yeah.
But nowadays,
that's the sort of punishment I want to see. I don't want to see players having a sook, and then the manager bowing to pressure and then putting them back in the squad like he did with Martial.
Yeah, it's look, the club's weak. Everyone can see that. It's so poor on behalf of the club to let these players get away with what they get away with. Like, it's just ridiculous, and the players just take advantage of it. So, like, if I'm a player. Do you think it would happen at a club like City? Do you think it would happen at a club like Chelsea, even Arsenal? Like, do you think it would happen at those clubs or at Tottenham? I don't know.
I could see it happening.
Arsenal probably happened. Yeah, it's probably a bad example, but yeah, like let's say Chelsea, City, Liverpool. There's no way it would happen.
No, I don't see it happening at Liverpool. I don't see it happening. I don't know if it has or hasn't happened, mate. Was there something around Sterling and City for a while there because he wasn't starting for a while? I can't remember. I know I heard a bit of stuff.
I don't remember him ever posting anything online, but
yeah, no, there was no posting, no posting on social media. But definitely clubs like Liverpool, Chelsea, you'd say City too. You wouldn't see that stuff, man. And to be honest, like, we're the biggest club in England. We should be the standard.
Yeah, we should be leading by example, but we're not even close, are we? We're not even close.
Like these clubs, and I understand that we haven't been the standard for fucking almost 10 years, but I'm talking in terms of the way we carry ourselves and the way the club is. And I know the club is run like a circus at the moment, but just in terms of like our self-respect and our dignity should be at an all-time high, and these clubs should be looking up to us on how they want to be run as a club and as a business and as a football side and everything like that. But we're down the bottom, man. Like, you know, I've heard a lot of other guys on YouTube through their channels saying United are in the mud, and I can't disagree, man. We're in the mud.
It's embarrassing. I've never seen. We thought over the last few years, it was bad, but it is absolutely what do you call it?
It's
A
gone to shit.
schmozzle. It is. It's so bad at the moment. I've never seen the club. I've never seen the club like this. It's quite upsetting. Like getting this pod together and reading through and putting points down and stuff like that. You're just going, is this really frigging happening? Is this seriously happening right now? You hear about it, you listen to pods and everything, but until you sit there and read everything that's going on, it just blows your mind away that we're actually going through this shit right now.
Hey, if you put those notes, like you sent me those notes that you had jotted down, and if you try and blank out for a second that it's like you could never match those, like all the those points that you made, like the scandal and the shit show that's going on between the players and the manager. You would never think that was Manchester United.
Mate, the other one that gets me, right? The other one that gets me, and I know it's probably a little bit off topic because I don't really want to touch on this Mason Greenwood thing, but I'm talking about teammates, okay? I'm talking about teammates. And, as much as I've had probably some teammates that have gone through some tough times and I know just being on social media and stuff like that, I talk to a lot of blokes and, a lot of blokes that are lonely and stuff like that. And they love a chat, Well, I don't know what their backgrounds are or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I constantly see, as much as it's bad what Mason Greenwood has done, the players are there. They're not following him now on social media. They're not doing this with him on social media now, and all that. Has one player rung him up and seen how he is? As much as he's a mate, if it happened to my daughter, he'd be in a body bag in 2 seconds. But I'm talking through a teammate's point of view. A teammate. Aside that, I don't know if I would. I know he's moved the police and everything like that, and I don't know how all the allegations and everything works. Are the players allowed to contact him and ask him, is he okay or anything like that? He's a vulnerable 19-year-old, 20-year-old, and he knows what's right and wrong. And please don't get me wrong. What he's done is just absolutely fucked up. But, as a teammate, I don't know if I could sit there and just go, well, I'm not following him anymore because he's done that. That you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's wrong what I'm saying. Maybe it is wrong what I'm saying. But I'm just talking about a mate. Like, if you were in trouble, I'd have to touch base with you and just say, look, is everything okay? Maybe that's just the type of bloke I am. Maybe most blokes aren't like that.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you in terms of, like, these guys aren't just teammates here. Like, they spend more time with them than they do with their own families.
Yeah.
You train every day, you play every week, travel together, sometimes play 3 games a week, whatever it is. You spend a lot of time with these guys, and they should be becoming more than just teammates. You become real good mates with them. Well, at least I did anyway when I played, and I only played in
100%, man. Far out.
Shithouse local competition. But I became, like, I got my best mates through football.
Yeah.
And we could barely get 8 blokes to training on a Tuesday night. So
yeah,
all my best mates have come through soccer. So I think with the whole social media thing, the unfollowing and stuff, I don't think it was actually. I think, like, those players that were named that unfollowed Mason, I think they've all got their own PR teams and their own media, someone looking after their social media. So I think just from a PR point of view, they would have made a decision to distance themselves from Mason. So I probably wouldn't read too much into that.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think the club, if you look at what the club's done at the moment, they've really distanced themselves from Mason.
Oh yeah, shit, mate. Like, they're offering new jerseys, everything like that.
They've dropped his player profile off the website.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all know the comments, the statement the club made a couple of days ago, that he's been told not to come to training. He won't be playing. The jersey thing now that came out, I read that today.
Yeah, last night. Yeah.
Yeah, whoever's got a Greenwood jersey can get it returned for free and get any player they want, any jersey they want. So I think the club. I think if you look at the club and how they're distancing themselves, probably says a lot more than what it does about the players.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You know,
if you look at relationships within that team, like from what I've seen over the last few years, Lingard and Rashford have a really good relationship. I think they're best mates or something.
Yeah,
they're
that's
always
right.
together,
Yeah.
even outside.
Well, they
of
came
football,
through the
they're
youth
always-
system together
That's
too,
right.
I think. Yeah.
So I don't know if Mason has anyone that close to him within this current side.
Yeah, well, probably not in the current side. Maybe like a Brandon Williams or something like that. You know, out at Norwich or a few of his mates that are out on loan that he's come through with. You know, probably contacting him. I really hope they do. As much as I believe that it's so bad what he's done.
Yeah, look,
you know, and I was watching it live. So,
like, I agree with what you said. You know, if you've got some really good mates and stuff like that around the side and around the club, they should be contacting you to see if you're okay. But I've got no remorse for him if they don't. Like, I don't.
Mate, I totally agree. But like you said, they play together. They basically live together. Everything like
I understand,
that.
but
yeah,
if the allegations are true, man,
it's fucked.
Oh,
it's
mate,
so fucking bad.
I hope he loses everything. I hope he honestly loses everything, man. I've seen what domestic violence does, man, and it's bad.
Yeah.
And to lay hands on a woman who you supposedly love, just because you're some 20-year-old hotshot who thinks he's made it already.
Yeah.
Mate.
Oh, mate, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I've got a wife, two kids. I've got 3 sisters. I've got a mum. Mate, fucking hell, mate. You'd kill the little prick.
Like, I already don't, like, and it'll probably never happen again anyway. I never want to see him in a United shirt. And I never want to see him play football again.
Yeah.
I never want to remember the name Mason Greenwood, mate. He can fucking do one. I cannot forgive him for any of that shit. He can fucking do one.
Yeah, mate, I totally agree with you. You know, and you all know that I was a big fan of Mason Greenwood. You know, mate. I stuck up for him through thick and thin. It's no different than a lot of the blokes that were, you know, on the Martial train. I was on the Greenwood train, 100%. You know, even when these allegations started coming out a year ago.
I'm on the United train. I don't look. I know the kid's got talent, but I don't see what everyone else sees.
Look, mate, the thing about it for me was I watched him right through his youth. You know, I watched him before he started coming into the first side. I watched probably 2 seasons of him through the youth, and I watched him through that, and that's why I did get excited about the kid. A lot of people probably down under didn't probably put as much time into watching him through the youth system. So I watched him through a lot through that. So
I'll confess, man, I've never I don't think I've ever watched a youth game, a United youth game, to be honest. But that's probably because I never had MUTV. But I don't know, like I get it. You know, a lot of former players rate him, and he's the best striker at the club. Blah blah blah. But I don't see it.
I totally agree, mate. Look.
I'm basing that just off this season. Yeah, like I think this season
100%.
He's been rubbish this year. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair enough, mate. Totally agree with everything you got to say, mate. Look, I'm finishing this pod. I want to just you weren't with me doing the 64th anniversary pod on Munich, so if anyone hasn't seen it, go back and look at the pod I did on Munich. We've got the 64th anniversary coming up this weekend. Yeah, and this is what we should be celebrating. You know, not club players versus club or club v players. You know, it's been a lot of controversy over the past couple of weeks. I want to touch on again on the 64th anniversary. You know, I always, as much as it's an upsetting time for a lot of United fans, and you know, I do know a couple of people through our supporters club that were around when this Munich happened, but it was an exciting time for that season 57-58. You know, they were going for a hat trick of titles. And, we should be celebrating this team. Give us your thoughts on the Munich, the Munich, well, I don't want to call it the Munich season. I want to call it the season, we're going for a hat trick of titles, league titles.
Let me spark up my dart.
Yeah, mate, because a lot of them in those days, mate, if you have a look at the photos, mate, they were slick young men, and they were on the darts too, and they loved to drink as well.
Some of the best players I've ever played with would rock up to the game with a smoke in their mouth and a long neck, and that was it. It was game over before we even kicked off. Look, my knowledge on the whole Munich, the tragedy isn't very large. So I know the basics around it, and I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to say I know all the names of the players that passed and things like that, which is something that I'm disappointed within myself, because I really do want to read up on it and learn about the history. And because from my understanding and from a lot of the documentaries I've watched, out of this tragedy built the greatest club in England. That's 100%. My understanding of it, right? So this club, this team, this tragedy, this aircraft crashes, a number of players die. We had you can say his name. I can't think of his name.
We had Harry Gregg. Harry Gregg came in and rescued players. These are the kind of young rescued players, and a young woman with a child. These are the kind of
this is the definition of a man.
That's right.
Yeah. You've just survived the plane crash, and you're going to run back in, right? And you've probably got injuries all over your body, and burns and cuts and bruises and things like that, and you're going to go back in there and save. See, you're talking about teammates and mateship before, about calling Mason. This is what mates do.
That's right.
100%, like that Harry Gregg, just that guy himself, just his little story of that day itself speaks volumes about what a man should be. And to see that the club, after that tragedy, be rebuilt the way it has been, Sir Matt in hospital for X amount of time, and to come back into management and rebuild the team, the success that team had, and to go on and to become what the club that we love today.
See, this is the thing. Other clubs like, sorry, I should say other fans. They always talk about us living in the past, and you know what? I love living in the past for United. I really do. The history is just so good, and it's mind blowing. It is mind blowing as a Manchester United
What these fans don't understand, these United fans who think that the club was born in '92, or who think that football was invented in '92 or the day that they were born.
Yeah.
What they need to understand is, okay, we're living in the past, but this past is what built this club. Yeah. Because without that tragedy, this is just my opinion, and like I mentioned before.
But that's what you're here for, mate. So I want you to talk. Yeah. I want you to talk openly and talk from the heart.
Like I said, my knowledge on this day isn't very large. So from this tragedy, without this tragedy, this club wouldn't be where it is today. The whole, it could have taken just a completely different turn. It could have gone a different way, the club. Maybe they weren't as successful. But it's these stories of these players, Sir Matt Busby, these players who survived it, the players who passed, who perished in the accident. If it wasn't for their memory, this club wouldn't be where we are today.
No, it wouldn't have.
It wouldn't have that romance. It wouldn't have that United DNA. Which is a saying that we've heard a heap of times since probably the last 3 years. The United DNA. This is chalk and cheese.
It's not even. Born. And it's quite sad for me. It's quite sad to see where the club is now, and then you see the club, the way it was built through the 50s, through the 60s, 70s. We went through a low where we got relegated. 80s, we won a couple of FA Cups, and we won the FA Cup in the 70s. You know, we stopped Liverpool doing the treble, you know, and then it was rebuilt from the mid 80s. You know, Fergie comes in, you know, and the romance starts again. You know, and it's quite even when we weren't winning league titles. Well, I think it was 26 years or 27 years we never won a league title. The fans were still pumping through the gates, and they were still embracing the badge. You know, now
that's what fans do. They're there for the club. And I was having this chat with the boys earlier. I think we're going to get to a stage, and I already know it's happening already, because this whole player FC movement, you know, people supporting players rather than supporting the club.
Yeah.
You know, people are streaming into stadiums to see certain players now. They're not there to see Manchester United or Chelsea or whoever, whichever club they supposedly support, but they're there for the player. They're not there for the club.
Yeah.
So sadly, that's where I think not just our fan base, I think football fans in general, that's the direction they're heading in.
Yeah, it is. You know, tomorrow we've got the FA Cup, and look, continuing this Munich theme, I really hope, you know, United has embraced the Munich theme, and I'd love to see them come out in a you know, 57, 58 uniform or something like that. Being that it is the weekend of it, and you know, an FA Cup game as well. You know, we made the FA Cup final that year, so it'd be nice for them to wear a FA Cup jersey from that era. You know, even though we lost the game, you know, I would love that. It'd bring a tear to your eye, I reckon.
What was that season not too long ago? So Alex was still in charge. We played City. It was a derby.
Yeah, that was 2003, was it? Something like that?
Was it 2000?
Was it? It might have been a bit later. I can't remember.
A bit later. I think it was around the year the 08, 09 maybe.
Oh, yeah. It was, yeah.
Where we wore the traditional strips. There was no names.
Yeah, I think it was
back.
2008.
Yeah. See, if they've done something like that, I think
50th anniversary.
Like, I think it was the 50th anniversary.
50th anniversary.
Yeah, I think it was. I'd like to see something like that. I thought those kits were absolutely mint. Even the ceremony and the laying of the wreaths before the match.
Look, I think they'll do that. I think they'll lay the wreaths for sure, because they always do that. Yeah, I really hope they have the ceremony again.
When it comes to United, have a lot of class and a lot of they really know how to show their respect towards, you know, the Munich air disaster and the players. Not just the players. There was other passengers on that flight who lost their lives, and the way we pay our respects to that time, you know, I find that the way United do it is very classy, and I love the way they do it. I really hope they bring out, you know, those kits again for this anniversary.
Oh, mate, it'd be brilliant. Anyway, Emad, mate, you won't be at the game tomorrow, but you know, we'll catch up soon.
Straight back into work.
Straight back into work for you. We've got the FA Cup at Scruffy Murphy's tomorrow. You know, we thought we'd try and do a little bit of a roundup on the podcast this week. On, you know, club v player. It's a bit of a tough one, because, you know, you could take either way. I think both ways is quite poor. I don't think the club's doing their job properly, and I think the players actually disrespect the club, you know, in summary. You know, so I hope everyone enjoyed the pod.
I have to finish off, mate. Point, yeah.
Yep.
No, I have to agree. I totally agree with you. Both sides of the party there, club and player, just absolute mess. Disrespectful both ways, I think.
Yeah, and you're not going to win trophies or titles or whatever you want to do while both up the top is arguing with down the bottom, or they're not even on the same page. It's not going to happen for us, you know. So I hope everyone enjoyed the pod. So remember to like, share, subscribe. Go and give us the big. Sorry.
Before I go.
Yes, whatever you want, mate.
How's the new chair holding up?
The new chair is good, mate. I'll give you a quick look in the last pod. Look at the new chair, mate. It's the right colours, everything. Look at that. It's absolutely beautiful chair.
Good.
Yeah, so no, the chair's
don't want
good.
you hurting yourself this time.
No, mate. No, that won't be happening at all. So I'm quite comfortable on this chair. It's nice and relaxing, you know. So
No, mate, it looks the goods. Good job.
cheers, mate. Cheers. So remember, all give us the thumbs up. Emad, you have a good weekend, and we'll catch you
too,
on the
brother.
next one, episode 4. We'll probably bring it out, you know, maybe I don't know, maybe next week or maybe the week after. See what dramas come through the weeks going ahead. So remember to like, share, subscribe again. I've been told I've got to keep saying that. So remember to give us that thumbs up.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
we want to
share,
keep
subscribe.
smashing. Yeah, we want to keep getting those thumbs up. And we'll catch you later on the next one. See you. Glory,
Cheers,
glory,
guys.
Man United. Hopefully we go
Glory.
through the 5th round of the FA Cup.
Can't wait.
See you,
Yeah,
mate.
boys.